So was there a moment this year for you that was especially tough at some point, either at the
Um,
start of lockdown or later?
yeah, I'll say personally for me, it was at the start of lockdown. So I'm I'm a I'm a person who thinks ahead. So at that time, I just started PRCA, so I was 2 months in, and then everyone's talking about, oh, you're gonna have to work from home. Um, some people might lose their jobs and so on. So obviously, my initial thought was, am I gonna have a job after lockdown? Because they're looking to put people on furlough, but are they looking to get rid of people to, to like shorten the pay bracket, or am I gonna get kept on? And obviously, I thought personally, I haven't had that time to prove myself within a company because I didn't feel like 2 months is enough time to prove yourself in a company.
For sure.
Um, Obviously, a probation is longer, so do you know what I mean? Some probations are 3 months, some probations are 6 months. So I wasn't too sure where I stood on that time. So I think that was more of a difficult time for me because I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. And I'm normally a person who likes to plan for my future. So I thought from January, oh, this COVID thing is not really going to pick up. This serious, but I don't think it's going to get to the lengths that it did. So I was just a bit like, well, I don't know where I stand. Am I going to start having to look for a new job, or do you know what I mean? So I think that was more of the most difficult time, I suppose, the start of lockdown. Um, Obviously, going on to furlough helped me a bit. Obviously, it steadied the ship a little bit for a lot of time. But again, no one was certain what was going to happen, and that's no fault of our guys that we work with. It was just a worldwide thing as well. So at the same time, if you're a person like that, you have to understand that you haven't really done anything wrong. It's just what's going on with the economy and what's going on in the world, basically.
Yeah, and I think because we started at the PRCA at a pretty similar time, only maybe like a
Yeah,
week difference, and I recall having the same sort of anxiety attacks really because of because we're so new and not really understanding even just the bigger picture of what was going on. Like went into lockdown, didn't know
exactly.
if this was going to be an all year thing. We're still getting our heads wrapped around it. So I was definitely like had that similar sort of like what's going to happen. So you almost end up watching every day just the economy or the health updates and then just drawing at times some absurd conclusions off the back of that. At least that was for me.
Exactly, and when you gotta provide for a family, because I know you're a dad, I'm a dad as well. You gotta look after your children and your family. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I live with my parents, but I still pay like a good substantial amount of bills as well, even though I live at home at the moment. So it knocks it's like a knock on effect with that stuff because you're like, oh, where am I gonna get the money to feed my family, or where am I gonna get the money to do the normal things that you do? Because obviously it plays on your mind. Do you know what I mean?
We're speaking a lot right now sort of about the ups and downs and the uncertainty, but was there someone in particular in your life, or if it was a colleague or a friend who was really that support system for you?
Um, I think that's a difficult one because I'm a person I don't depend. Obviously, because I'm older now and I'm a father and whatever. I depend on myself, so I know I have to find ways to get out of that circle or whatever. So I think I depend on myself. Obviously, I'm living at home at the moment, so my brother's working, my mom's working, my dad's working. Yeah, it's okay. They'll be my support system because they're always going to help me because I live with them. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't really. I'm not a person who welcomes that help. If you get what I mean, I
Right.
like to do it by myself. Like I know I've done this. I'm gonna do this. This is my money. I don't. Since I got my first job, I stopped asking my mum for money. I just gave her money anyway. So I'm a type of person like that. I just like to do things by myself, so I know that I've got me, not somebody else has got me. So I'll say my family, yes, in a certain way because they said you'll be all right, blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, I'll say my immediate family to be fair.
Is that something that you've learned maybe to rely on other people a little bit more, or is it still very much entwined in your personality to sort of take that full ownership and not necessarily looking to, asking for help, which is okay to do so?
Yeah, so it's okay. Do you know what it is? Personally, I rely on myself because since I used to do that before I came a father, but now I've become a father as well. I find it more difficult because I know that I have to provide for my daughter. So that's my goal. I know I need to do X, Y, Z because my daughter needs me. That's my focus. But at the same time, in work scenarios and whatever, I don't find it hard asking for help or anything. But anything personally or things like that, I like to do it myself. I just need to know that I can. Well, not need to know. I just know that I can do it myself. I've got that type of mentality.
And was there a moment for you, and I'm not sure if that moment has even come yet, but has there been a moment for you that has given you real sense of encouragement and that real heart, just knowing that you're going to be okay, that things are starting to sort of calm down?
Mm, well, during furlough, I decided because I didn't know what was going on, so I decided to pick up some of the money that I had and learn the trading. Obviously, you have to pay to learn some of that stuff. So I started doing that, and I started making money on it. So that was one of the things. That was one of the skills that I learned within the furlough period that was on. Um, I believe. Sorry, what was the question again?
No, just was there a moment for you that sort of gave you that real sense of encouragement, knowing that you've got this?
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
like this is a turning point for you in a way.
Obviously, things are still uncertain with what's going on, but I think knowing that my job was secure going into the second lockdown, and well, after the first furlough, I felt a sense of security. So I felt I've got this basically. I felt like, yeah, I'm a bit more stable and steady, so I can move on with what I need to do and make amends as to what happened in my first 2 months in the company. So I still feel it's coming up to a year that we've already been in the company, but I still feel that I need to prove myself because physically I've only been in the company 2 months. Do you know what I mean? Even though I've been working for home, I mentioned it the other day, physically I've only been in the company 2 months.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it? Like you
Yeah,
get that initial start, and then everything else is all remote, which for a lot of us is just really bizarre, especially week
yeah.
in, week out. And was there anything that you learned about yourself this year that you hope to take forward into next year? Anything that might have even surprised you?
Um, Patience. I'm not a patient person. I'm not a patient person.
No, neither am I.
Stopping queues, no go for me. If I see a queue, I'm not going in. I've gained a lot of patience. Obviously, with the COVID situation, it's all a waiting game basically. So I've learned with whatever you do, like within this COVID period, it's a waiting game. Nothing's ever certain. So basically, you basically have to wait. So I think I've gained a lot more patience in this period.
And what are you looking forward to next year? Like what makes you feel very optimistic about the year 2021?
Um, I would like to go and see my grandparents because I didn't get to go to the Caribbean last year because I was supposed to go in May. So I've got my fingers crossed that I could go see them and I could take my daughter as well. Um, I'm looking forward to that. Fingers crossed. Because during this time they have a hurricane season as well. And
Right.
last, no, I think it was last year or the year before they had a serious hurricane. So they're basically rebuilding their house at the moment, and it's coming up to the hurricane season again. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, there was because they live near a river, so it's very close. So the river banks break, water starts flooding in the house, eroding all of the brickwork, whatever it may be. So fingers crossed, I get to see them next year.